Greetings again. As I begin this series on basic Christian teachings, my first real question, my first real difficulty is where to start. There's just so much that encompasses Christian teachings that how do you begin this series? I decided I'd begin at the beginning. What is it that makes someone a Christian? Well, in some traditions, I know that they teach that you have to pray a sinner's prayer. In some traditions, they teach that you have to be baptized. And neither of those are really accurate. Neither of those ideas show what the book of Acts teaches us. So if we go into the book of Acts, we see time and time again, and I think here of Peter in Acts 10 and 11 when he's meeting with the Gentiles. He preaches to them. He teaches them about Jesus. He shows them who Jesus is, and they say, "We believe." And that's simply it. They just respond positively to the gospel message. And at that moment, because they received, the Holy Spirit comes upon them, and then they are baptized. I don't think, we don't get the impression that the earliest apostles taught about or led with teachings on sin the way that some churches do today, and they certainly didn't lead off with baptism. Rather, they just opened up the idea of this is who Jesus is. Do you accept that? If you accept that, then you're part of the church. Now, a lot of things come with that. There's a lot of things that you have to kind of grow into, just like any family. But the basis is, do you believe what we're telling you? And once the Gentiles believed, and really once the Jews believed, well, they were part of the church. Now, from that point, there are some things that we would say you have to do to be a faithful Christian. And there is some room to have the discussion about, if you don't practice them, these things, are you still a Christian? There is some room for that discussion. But the beginning of faith is small. It is simply saying, yes, I believe that Jesus is divine. I believe that he died and was raised again. And I believe that God's kingdom is now part of this earth and growing more and more a part of it, or the earth is transforming more and more into God's kingdom. And so, just by saying that you would believe that simple gospel message, that's it. That's what makes us part of the church. From there, we begin to talk about things like baptism, things like sin, things like fellowship and community, and all of these other issues that begin to pop up in our world. But for today, the primary issue that we have to handle is, how do we believe? Or how do we join the church? It's simple. Basic belief. And for some people, I was listening to a very famous author yesterday who said, for some people, he's an illustration, for some people, it's just this recognition. All of a sudden, you've been going through the motions for a long time, and you wake up one morning and you go, oh, yeah, I do believe this. For others, there's a definitive moment, there's a definitive time, but those are personal and individual. I think it was C.S. Lewis who crafted this expression, but it might not have been. For some people, Christianity is like being on a train bound from England to Scotland. And you fall asleep somewhere around the border and wake up and you suddenly look around and you go, oh, I must have crossed the border somewhere, but I don't remember it. That can be your journey. That can be your reality. That is part of Christianity. It is waking up all of a sudden sometimes going, oh, yeah, I do take this seriously. I do believe this. I do count myself as one of these people. But the basis of the faith is about believing in the gospel message that Jesus is Lord and is establishing God's kingdom here on this earth. So we should try not to get hung up on some of the little things, some of the technical things, some of the issues, minor issues that have really separated Christians in the past. We should try to keep in mind what true belief actually is. So until we meet again, God bless.